Eight. We'll call the meeting to order and start with pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a couple of changes to the agenda. The presentation by Janice Johnson is canceled and will be rescheduled for next month. And under new business, workplace violence training has to be planned.
I've got one issue to do under.
You want to add something to the agenda?
Yeah. Just came up last night.
Do you want to share with us?
You want to do it now? I'm happy to tell you. We're short a couple of people on the wind committee, the wind advisory committee, and we wanted to try and make it so that we could just add them without having to go through board approval of the person that it was going to be. Just because our next meeting is in 2 weeks, and we're trying to get somebody to add to that meeting, and they won't be able to part of it until they'll miss a couple meetings without approval.
Do you have the
We don't know the
resolution?
I do have the resolution, yeah.
All right, so
And
we will add that under Wind Farm Advisory Committee.
Would be great, yeah.
Okay, we will start with privilege of the floor. Mike, do you want to get the sign-in sheet? Dawn Drake.
Yeah, I'm gonna go last this time.
Tammy Ailing.
All right, first of all, I'd like to thank all the board members for all the hard work you've been doing on not just the wind turbine project, but all the other things you've been doing. I know it's a lot of time away from your families and your other life. I'd like to say what I feel like a board member consists of many things to me. It's listening to the people of the town that they work for, caring for the people that they work for, and doing what's right for the people that's in that town. I feel some of the people on the board have been doing this and doing a really good job of it, and I'm glad that you're listening and you're taking advisement of what people have been saying. Make me feel good about being a member of this town, which I love and live in, as well as my grandparents who raised their families here. It saddens me to think that some of you don't do this, as I have seen at many of the meetings. I don't feel that you are being a community or working well together. Maybe it's time to think about doing the right thing and remembering who voted you in. Remember who we are and be proud to live here as I do. Thanks.
Jude Lemke.
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I see there's a last minute addition to the agenda that there was no notice about intending to pass a resolution that there's no intention to amend the town law or to pass a moratorium. I don't know why. First of all, I don't understand why these things keep getting added at the very last second when we have no time to.
Where do you see this on the agenda?
Well,
Where do you see
resolutions-
this on the agenda?
Well,
She
it's
has a
not,
3
but it's
minutes, doesn't
sitting
she?
out there. It's sitting right over there.
She has her 3 minutes to speak anyway.
Privilege of the floor for 3 minutes.
Exactly.
So, are you not, you're not going to pass?
It is not on the agenda.
Okay, well, it was sitting over there, so I'm not sure. I assumed if it was sitting out like that, there was an intention to talk about it. All right, a couple of other things. When I was reviewing the town financials, appears Black Oak owes the town $41,000 for out-of-pocket expenses as of the end of May. The developer's agreement says that they're required to replenish that escrow account to a positive balance of $15,000 within 15 days of a notice from the town to do so. That would mean that they should be depositing $56,000 in this account, and I'm not sure why the town hasn't requested that Black Oak do that. With respect to the road use agreement, I will say that I think that it's a significant improvement. The most recent draft I saw is a really significant improvement over the initial drafts. And I'm glad to see the town is really taking a lot of our comments into account. But I note that despite Black Oak's comments to the contrary on numerous occasions, including the December 17th meeting of last year, that at this point they only intend to restore the roads to current state, which is pretty inadequate state. That maintenance was put off because John Ranchick asked the town to put off all that maintenance, and so for 9.5 years, we put off maintenance on the roads, and they've been promising to restore those roads, not just to current state, but to beyond current state, and now they're not. They've reneged apparently on that promise, which apparently I assume is due to Onyx's pressure not to spend more than they have to. And then finally, I just wanted to note that I had shared with the board a letter from my realtor documenting a conversation I had with him last fall about the fact that my property is worth at least $100,000 less now than it was when I bought it because of the threat of the wind farm, and that if I had known that, right, I wouldn't have spent as much money, or actually I wouldn't have bought the property at all. So I just want to reiterate his offer. I mentioned in that email that he was willing to come and talk to the board about why he thought property values were going to go down, and reiterate his offer to come and speak to the board and to the town about why he believes property values will decline as a result of the wind farm.
Thank you. Brad Connors?
Thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to thank the board for what they're doing, and we'll hope that they will use common sense in anything we do going forward. I've lived in Ithaca, in this area, town of Ithaca, on this side of Ithaca, since I was 6 years old, raised, and as an adult, spent my entire life here in Enfield. So I've been familiar with a lot of the changes, as well as technology, and everything that's happened around us. And now when it hits here in this community, I went to the first meeting in April, following the, should I say, the disruptive one that was well publicized and the concerns. And I remember walking in and somebody asked me, "Are you here for the windmills?" I said, "No, I'm here for the truth." So going through several meetings, listening to the arguments, pulling all the data and everything aside to try and weigh, who's, are people concerns overreacting? Are the truth here not being spent? Then I started to put it into another perspective, a common sense perspective, that, well, wait a minute. If Black Oak, now I'm not against wind energy, and wind energy is a good idea, but we're talking about Black Oak. And whether Black Oak wind happens or not, it is going to make not a single bit of difference in climate change. It is too minuscule to make any impact whatsoever. So unless everybody embraces this in the community in all aspects, to put up a monument per se, because that's what it's going to serve, basically, because the purpose of this was to affect climate change. It has no possibility whatsoever. Myself, I'm not for it, because that will be a testimony, a monument to ignorance and stupidity. So I went into this examining both sides and such to try and give them a fair break. But when it boils down to, we got something here that we're arguing about, having difficulties passing, the people that have to live with them don't want them. Why do it if it's not going to have any benefit in purpose? Thank you.
Thank you. Marcus Gingrich.
Marcus Gingrich, 101 Rumsey Hill Road. Since this resolution currently is not on the agenda, it kind of changes what I was going to say, because I was really concerned that something was again happening without any prior notice. But I do want to kind of echo what Tammy said. I really do appreciate what a lot of you board members are really doing, the time and effort you're putting into this whole project, on top of everything else you have in your lives. I know this is not the only thing you have to do, and I really do appreciate it. I am concerned that the board makes sure that they are representing the people and not a company. I mean, this whole issue, the financials, where it looks, from my perspective, and looking at it, it kind of looks like Enfield is bankrolling Black Oak Wind Farm endeavors, and that doesn't make much sense to me, because that's an escrow account which is supposed to stay in the black, not in the red. I don't know, is that what we're about? Is that what we're here to try and make sure a corporation succeeds, or are we here to actually look out for the residents, the people who live in this town, who have families, who work? What are we about? And I'm gonna reiterate this one, I've said it before, I have concerns about the trustworthiness of this corporation. They have said things in the past that people could get out of contracts. No, they can't. They've said that, no, we haven't started construction. Well, maybe we have. It just seems to snowball, and I have a distinct lack of trust for anything that's basically said from them. There has to be something to back it up. The road use agreement. The impression I had from early on was that, oh yeah, we're gonna fix up these roads, they're gonna be much better than what they are now. Well, maybe, maybe not. I read a comment, somebody else in a different area, the same thing. They found the developer going down the road, videoing the road, and they asked him why. Oh, because we're gonna restore it exactly to the condition that it currently is in. Oh, well, I thought you were going to improve it and make it new. No response. Is that what's gonna happen here? I think it's gonna be your responsibility. Unfortunately, you guys are on the hot seat, so to speak, to make sure that they do what they're saying they're gonna do, and to actually hold them to their word, make sure they do what is right for the town, what is right for the community. Thanks.
Does anyone else wish to speak?
No. I'm not in a real good mood tonight, sorry. I want to thank the board, especially both the Mikes, because you have cared about this town and people more than anyone on that board. Henry, we're pulling you over a little bit, I see, because I've been to all these meetings. The rest, I already know that John Ranches bought you out. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest.
Wait,
And I'm
what
sorry,
was that,
that's
was that
honesty.
about John Ransich?
She bought a house off him, from I heard. She's in cahoots with him. I pretty much know that she's already, and last time you guys said, oh, we care about you, no response. Because that's exactly how I feel. If this deal goes through, I'm gonna tell you right now, there will be protests, and it won't be kumbaya protests.
Well, thank you for the answer, I guess. Nobody else thank you, Mark.
That would be nice.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull any? Do you have anybody else who wishes to speak during public privilege of the floor?
Well, I'd just like to say that I just found out
Your name and
about
address,
this.
please.
Oh, Ron Gribble. You want me to sign this? Hi. Hi. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to sign that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd just like to say that I just found out about this, 15 minutes ago, that this was being voted on.
We're not done.
But it's not being voted on
So,
Well, the wind laws, wind farm laws, is that correct?
Well, they sent the resolution out, but Ann stated that they're not gonna take it up in this meeting. So I'm not sure why it was sitting out, but she said they're not.
Full disclosure.
So there's no vote tonight?
There is not.
Yes, no.
There are action items on the agenda. They are starred.
And why don't we know about this kind of stuff before it happens? Because this kind of seems like status quo, everything that's gone on with this. Like, when I get back, like only like a month ago, I find out that this is going on, or the wind turbine site has been moved. This kind of stuff just seems very status quo. Without trying to put things through on the down low. I resent that kind of, it seems like if something's gonna happen, you should put it up on the website, let people know what's going on. Like, I don't wanna get a call 15 minutes before, the meeting's supposed to start, quite frankly. So, that's all I gotta say on that matter.
Would anyone else like to speak at privilege of the floor?
Could we
Beverly.
maybe clear this up? Why was that resolution posted on the website? If it's not going to be part of the agenda, it was on the agenda list, or is it just to let people know that maybe it will come up later to be voted on?
Yeah.
That's why it was on there? So people
Full
can just
disclosure.
read it. When will it be on the agenda?
Don't know.
You have to show up every meeting, I guess, just to make sure.
Can't plan that far ahead. Anyone else wish to speak at privilege of the floor? I believe the rules say one person, or one time. I don't have the rest of the rules. We'll make an exception.
Well, I would just like to say that when and if you take it up, I'm not sure why we would pass a resolution such as that, because Black Oak insists that they have vested rights, so they don't need that resolution to protect themselves. And it seems to me that taking that action is tying the board's hands further and possibly giving Black Oak a stronger argument around vested rights. So I'm not sure why you do it. It's not enforceable, it's not binding. So why would you take an action that hurts the town and helps Black Oak when Black Oak insists that they have the vested rights to move forward anyway?
Okay, on to consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Does it matter if we haven't finished signing these yet? Can we still approve them?
I don't know.
He's got his hand up over there.
Marcus has one more thing, so.
Okay, and then the board's going to conduct business.
Can I just ask one quick question? About that resolution, I was just kind of curious. We've been really concerned about our town not having a lot of funds. And that seems to be directly related to benefit Black Oak. Was that written by the town? Was that written by the town lawyer? How was that funded?
That was written by the town lawyer.
So we're using town funds to write a resolution to help out Black Oak Wind Farm? Is that what we're supporting now?
This is town business. Town legal business.
There's your
We are the
answer.
town. We are the town.
We are the town.
Okay, town business. Anybody wish to separate out anything on the consent agenda?
Only if the audit claims can't be approved without being signed first, that's all. Because they haven't finished being signed yet, that's all.
Oh, so we'll move the consent agenda down to the after committee
And I'll keep
reports.
signing.
Okay. Correspondence. We have a letter from NYSERDA regarding Ithaca's photovoltaic renewable energy project. We have the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium. We have an energy roadmap that was done by the county, I think. We have a fact sheet on landowner considerations for solar land leases. We have an advertisement from Solar City, who's a member of MEGA. If any board member is interested in municipal workshops, there are some summer planning and zoning schools, and there's budgeting basics in Big Flats on June 16th. There's the Greater Tompkins County Insurance Consortium 2015 Annual Report. There is the annual report to the community from Tompkins County Area Development. There's another letter from Municipal Electric and Gas Allowance regarding New York's wish to use renewable energy in New York State. Our energy supply company is being forced to make some changes, which is going to cost us more in our supply costs on electricity. And we have the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium financial reports from 2014 and 2015. And some of these aren't exactly copyable, but I assume you're going to keep them for public perusal.
Sure.
Where do they get kept for public?
I'm at the office. You could just stop in and
Okay, good.
ask me.
I'd like to read the NYSERDA one.
County Legislature's report? Dave? Yeah. Yeah, it's your turn.
Would you like good news or bad news?
Oh, let's take the bad news first, because I think there's some good news.
The roof on the TC3 building is
Woo.
in bad shape. It's a $3.5 million project. Half of it will be paid by the state. 63% of the balance will be paid by Tompkins County. That's the bad news. That's $1,102,500.
Excuse me, can you say that
It's a-
again, please? We can't hear it. Can I hear it?
The roof on the main building at TC3 is in very poor shape and is got to be replaced. That is owned by Tompkins County, Portland County, and the state of New York. The state of New York will fork over 50% of the cost and Tompkins County's share is 63% of the balance, which is approximately $1,102,500. On the other hand, we just got a revitalization grant for Tompkins County Airport to the tune of $349,000. We just approved that last night, and they called me today and said that they got it, so I don't know how that happened so quick.
Seems
Must not have
odd.
been a government operation.
Seems odd.
Anyway, also entered into a 5-year contract with CNS companies for consulting with the airport. They've been basically the people that do most of the work at the airport, and one of the few companies in the area that are authorized to do that kind of work. So they have been authorized for another 5 years. Government operations established standard work days for elected and appointed officials in Tompkins County. We also authorized the county to go into a lease agreement for 5 years for the Department of Motor Vehicles building in Ithaca. Scheduled public hearing for continuation of modifications to Agricultural District 2 on the west side of Huger Lake, and another one for Tompkins Community College operating budget, and another one for creating a new chapter 133 of the county code, again, entitled residency. And they are, I believe, all happening at the next legislature meeting. In the order in which I mentioned it. We also approved a funding revenue bond for William George Agency, $3,100,000. We don't pay that, but it's done through the county. And so we would get the bonds for that, and they would make the payment. And let's see, New York State assistance payments for farmland protection implementation project funding. That was also passed, and that's on a farm on Brownsbury Road in town, I guess that's town of Caroline.
Carolyn.
And also passed a resolution urging PSC to make the energy credits for RECs remain with the people that get them initially. There's a move to somehow get those back to the utilities at the moment. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on with it, but we're trying to convince them not to do this, to leave them, because there's a lot of things that get screwed up when if that change is made. You cannot claim the green energy, and if you don't have the RECs, according to the original outfit right now. So if they scoop those all up and give them back to the utilities, somebody is getting hurt big time. So we're trying to prevent that from happening. Public hearing on authorizing the legislature to override the tax levy limit for 2017. And that's also at the next meeting. That pretty much covers my report.
Okay, thanks, Dick. Highway Superintendent's report?
First off, we got a nice thank you letter from the health department for the rabies clinic. They said the new highway went very well there for them, the accommodations, and they thought the flashing lights on the truck really helped a lot out by the road to let people know where we are and stuff, and they just sent a letter saying that. So it was very helpful. Did you get the chips letter?
No.
There's a copy of that. We got the same amount as last year, plus what we had left over from last year. Then the excavator engine broke, went bad. It's been down for about 3 weeks now, but it is under warranty and CAT's taking care of it. They had to pull the engine, take it down to their shop to go back through it. Something internally happened to it. And that sort of worked out because in the meantime, since that's been down, we've been helping Enfield blacktop, Town of Ithaca blacktop, and we're blacktopping this week along with spring cleanup and other stuff. And we're doing, me and Brandon McGee went to a highway school for the last 3 days up at Ithaca College that they have every year. Cleanup, we have, it's been, 2 days now, 2 half-a-days. We got about a 30-yard dumpster full. A lot of scrap metal, seems to be washing machines and stuff, so. And that, our deal. And then I would like to, I was asking the board about changing the highways labor wages. They were changed in January to $14.35 an hour. And I have found out since that we didn't have to do that because seasonal and part-time help wasn't included in the certification for the wage certification for Tompkins County.
That was my understanding,
What was?
that seasonal and part-time laborers were exempt.
Okay, well then, was it your intention to change the labor rate to $14.35 still then for laborers for the highway? Because it was. And I'm having a hard time paying that.
I guess I don't understand the concern.
I want to take it back to $10 to $12 an hour. In January, it was changed to $14.35. Under the pay schedule for the town.
When we were trying to do living wage.
Well, I know this is, the 1432 is about living wage. But I thought that part-time was exempt.
It is. Part-time, seasonal is
Is exempt.
But not in our resolution, it's not.
I see. And you would like to maintain the part-time and seasonal rate as it's been in the past?
Yes.
Okay. I will research that and bring forth another resolution if we can.
So I would like to hire somebody next week. What do I tell them?
Wow.
For
Want to
wages?
have a special meeting next week? We could deal with some other things besides this issue.
Unless we can just verbally say, go ahead and hire them at the previous rate.
Then we can amend that. I don't know. Okay. Well, let's try that, Henry. You move.
I move to give Buddy permission to hire the temporary and seasonal employees at the previous rate, exempt from the 14, whatever it was, minimum.
Second.
Any other discussion? Call the vote.
Councilperson Carpenter?
Aye.
Councilperson Hanstein?
Aye.
Supervisor Ryder?
Aye. Is
Thank
that
you.
what you,
Yes.
you're welcome.
Anything from you guys? Questions?
Do they give you hearing tests?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get them done every year. That's part of, PASH for safety
Right.
and preventive.
Do you track changes?
The company does, yeah. It's a company that does it. We all go up to, well, Caroline.
Right, it's in Caroline, yeah.
She rounds it all up, and then
Yeah.
all the towns go up there and hearing trailer booth.
Right.
And they send us the data sheets, and if there's any big differential, they send each person a notice.
That's what
saying-
I was wondering, if you find any significant hearing loss.
Yeah.
Have you found that there was any overall for the highway employees as a whole, or?
No, there's been one that had a little bit, but nothing that was serious enough to go get.
Yeah.
And a couple of us have.
Do you have any jobs that you're required to wear your protection?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost everything.
Right. Yeah.
How long's the warranty on that excavator engine?
1 year, which is August.
And you get another year after they fix it again?
I don't know, we haven't got that far. I'm really happy with them though, because they are doing all the labor and everything that's involved in it. It started out being a cracked injector line, which they were warrantying that, and then it ended up being the injector pump fell out of the motor, is basically what happened. And they couldn't get it apart, so they had to pull the motor to take it down to get it all apart and stuff.
They're doing that at the highway barn?
Yeah, they took it out down there. Yeah, but they're covering everything as of right now, so that's a real good thing. And we're keeping busy without it, so not hurting too bad. That's all I have.
Thank you. Code enforcement report?
For the month of May, I issued 7 permits, which brings us to 26 for the year, including 4 new homes and 5 solar installations. Issued 2 certificates of occupancy and 2 certificates of completion. I did a combination of 24 inspections and progress checks. Received 1 complaint, which was valid. Issued 1 new property number and installed 3 property signs. I've also been working with Renovus on their application for the new solar farm, which will be on Mecklenburg Road, which they will probably install sometime this fall. The other thing is I got the new code books in, came in last week, although I do not have the 200-page supplement that goes with it. So I have code books which I really can't enforce until that comes in. So I've been looking at them, there's quite a few changes, it would appear, but it's hard to tell until we get the.
There's significant changes?
Probably some.
Huh.
But it's hard to tell because New York may adopt some of the changes and they may not adopt them.
Oh.
Makes it kind of confusing.
Do you have a date that you
I
are
see.
supposed to start enforcing the new code?
I can enforce it now if the applications come in following the new code.
Right.
Officially, it takes effect for everything on October 6th, I believe. So there's still some time
Right.
to get the information. It will be a learning curve.
Yeah. Can you get them online? Are they selling them now, the books?
The books, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe so. It came with a little flyer flyer says if you want to buy more,
Yeah.
Oh,
they're available. So
What price are you getting?
the old ones are around $800 for the set, I think,
Oh, wow.
in 2010.
That's for the whole set. Did everything change? The energy code and the plumbing and the whole Megillah?
Yeah, what they're doing now is they are adopting the national code instead of New York having its own code, so it's a whole new set of books.
So it's the international code,
International
it's
code,
not
yes.
the New York code anymore?
It will be the international code with a 200-page New York supplement to go with the international
Okay.
code books.
And are the international commentaries going to apply to New York, or is New York only going to have their own commentaries again?
You asked me that before, and I still don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
It just, I'm not sure.
Yeah, doesn't apply to the town. then.
Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, okay. $800, wow.
I think the individual ones were a couple hundreds.
Yeah, the last time I bought a regular one was like $90, but they keep going up.
They do. They're bigger and thicker.
Yeah.
I think it's finer print too.
finer print. Now, you issued a property number and you installed house numbers. That's because you would issued these prior in a different month?
Those are the house signs which people have requested. So it could be for
Oh.
anybody's home.
Oh, everybody doesn't have those green.
Signs.
They're only put up when they're requested.
Oh.
By
Oh.
an individual or the fire department or somebody.
Oh, I guess my neighbor thought I wanted one. Okay.
But yeah, I get requests from everybody.
Hmm.
For many sources anyway.
Okay.
Fire department can't find a house and say, they need a sign. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes they'll just put them up,
so
even without being asked.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Other questions?
You know
Or
what's going on
Alan?
with that yellow place down on the corner, Enfield Center and 320?
Oh, that one.
the house right down here in the corner.
The repossessed one. They
Okay.
did mow the lawn.
Yeah, it was bought by a landowner, or a resident in Enfield, who owns the property. He purchased the property at tax sale, I believe. And
Oh,
he-
really?
Yeah, for not a lot of money.
Right?
He came in and talked to me after he bought it. He's not sure just what he's gonna do with it yet, but he wanted to get a tarp over the roof to keep the weather out, and he's taking some of the stuff out of it and cleaning it out. I'm trying to
The
assess
tarp
what he
flew
wants to
away.
do.
Part of it flew away.
It has.
Yes.
But he's cleaning a lot of stuff out of it.
Huh.
He told me when he's ready to make a decision on what he wants to do, he'll stop in and get a permit for the works. So I think he's gonna fix it up.
I'd be impressed.
I don't know.
Doesn't look savable to me.
Yeah, and it's just a very small parcel, so if he doesn't fix it up, it's really, has to be torn down and remain
Have to
vacant.
be raised.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor's report, I met with Earl Wright regarding painting the town hall. We do not have a start date yet. Held 2 special meetings regarding wind farm matters. I attended the monthly TCOG meeting. I attended the Tompkins County Area Development Board meeting, and I attended the Tompkins County Health Consortium Board meeting. Did I send this to you? Committee reports. I didn't say at the first of the meeting. Michael Miles and Virginia Bryant have family commitments, and they're excused tonight. So you went to last night's meeting, all right?
It was somewhat sparsely attended, but it's going to be a little bit more iffy going into the future, just to make with summer vacations and everybody being in and out of town, to try and get meeting times that are going to work. We decided on every 2 weeks at this point, on Tuesday nights, if we can keep that, and see if we can get as many people as we can. Started the process of talking about how to do some repair, upgrade, changes on the existing wind law. Went through a decision-making process in relation to it. Made a decision that we're going to initially take the existing law and try and revise it and make it work better. If we find somewhere in the process that isn't going to work, that it's too unwieldy to stay within the confines of the existing law, then we would start fresh and go off into another direction. But for right now, we're going to try and just revise the existing law. I think we're assuming it's going to take quite a while, that there's at least 6 months worth of time there to do that. We did find that we lost a couple of people that were regular members that won't be able to continue being regular members, which is why we wanted to ask the board about a new process, or maybe just a more updated process of putting some new members onto the advisory committee.
Can you read the resolution that
formed it?
That formed it, or at least the pertinent?
Do you want me to only read the pertinent parts?
Yes.
Seems like a good idea.
Do you have it in front of you?
I have it right here.
Does Henry have it in front of him?
No.
Oh, okay. Then you have to read.
I can read it. There is hereby, whereas after due deliberation, so forth and so on, then we come to the resolve part. There is hereby formed the Enfield, we changed the name somewhere, but it's EWFAC, the committee, which shall be a citizen advisory committee. The EWC shall be a standing committee for the calendar year 2016, unless earlier dissolved or hereafter extended by the town board. It shall consist of as many members as the town board shall periodically and at will appoint or remove, whether based upon vacancies, the needs of the town, or the EWC, or otherwise. Initially, it shall consist of 8 members and 1 alternate. A minimum of 2 such positions shall be public officials of the town of Enfield, and at least 1 shall be a town board member. And it goes on to say who the initial appointees are, and no compensation. But that's basically what it says about the members of the committee. And at this point, we kind of have sides. I mean, we tried to be balanced in terms of how the membership was developed. So the membership that was the people that lived in that area that were strongly affected by the wind farm, those 3 people are still on the committee and would like to still be on the committee. The people that were appointed that were on the side of supporting the wind farm and trying to keep the development moving. Marguerite Wells was originally 1 member. She resigned immediately, and her spot was taken by Peter Bardaguilo. And then Peter stopped coming when we changed the process over to developing the new law, because that wasn't part of his scope. Charlie Elrod resigned from the committee. He had some other things he had to do. And we did have an alternate, Julie, I don't know her last name.
Julie.
Julie Schrader?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who joined partway through last spring, but she wasn't there last night. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to make it again. So we'd like to be able to appoint 2 new members that would be more knowledgeable about the development of the wind farm, and more interested in trying to work toward getting it to go through, finishing the process of having it be approved and permitted and go through. We don't know anybody right offhand. We asked Ann from Black Oak if she knew anybody that was in the wind farm committee or in the board that might be interested. She was going to try and find out if she knew somebody. There were some other people that were going to try and look for other people that might be interested in joining the committee. The issue was that our next meeting is 2 weeks from yesterday, which will be before the next board meeting, and then the next meeting after that will be 2 weeks from that, which I think will be the day before the next board meeting. So it'll wind up being that we'll have 2 more meetings before the board could actually approve anybody else to join the committee. So we'd like to be able to find a couple more people to join the committee before then, or immediately, and have some kind of a process whereby we could approve their appointment to the
I
committee.
think you better bring it to the board. We can have a special meeting when you find people.
Right. Well, that would be fine, and we could certainly do a special meeting for it too, yeah.
there's other things we'll need to discuss before the next board meeting.
Okay, that sounds great. Sounds like a good plan.
Does anybody know anything about the planning board meeting?
I do.
Okay,
I was at the last planning board meeting last week. They had three things they discussed. One was a site plan review application for the solar law, or for the solar farm,
for the proposed
for
one.
the proposed solar farm, so they scheduled a public hearing for that.
And when is
for
that?
The first week in July, first Wednesday in July.
Their regular meeting.
Their regular meeting will be a public hearing for that. And also, we had a request for a subdivision of property for the same parcels of land. The owner wants to combine two parcels and split them into three parcels. So that we felt that, or they felt that fell under the subdivision regulations. So that is also going to have a public hearing at the same planning board meeting next month to discuss that. Then the other thing they discussed was updating the site plan review law.
Right.
In particular, changing the requirements for site plan review for commercial buildings.
Commercial. So did they start that process?
They discussed it, they have a recommendation, I think they'll bring to the board probably next month.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I think they want to decrease it from 10,000 square feet to,
And that's the only change they want to make?
and that's the most important change they want to make, and the
Yeah.
order they discussed.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, the site plan review law was updated in 2012, so it's a pretty recent law.
Mm. Okay.
But it did have that thing,
Oh.
they did want to update on that to make it more correct for larger commercial buildings. Because right now, not many buildings fall under the 10,000, over the 10,000 square feet.
Right. Right.
I think that was all I did.
And the next regular meeting is July what? 3rd?
6 maybe.
No, it'll be 2.
Calendar back to you. 4th is a Monday, that's 6.
I thought
believe.
the 4th was a Friday. Oh, it's a Monday. Oh. Oh,
Correct.
so it's the 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be 2 public hearings on that day.
2 public hearings.
Any questions?
I guess I asked them. Anybody got other questions? Carolyn Shantz is not here tonight. I believe in your packet you have a summary for the number of people that are residents of the town of Enfield that have utilized the services of the Recreation Partnership. And that contract is up at the end of 2016, so we will have to talk about any preliminary changes that we need to make. I will get out the current agreement and distribute it. And next month, Janice Johnson will give us a presentation from County Youth Services regarding the rec partnership, so can review that and ask her questions. Enfield Volunteer Fire Company report.
For May, there were 19 calls. There was 1 rubbish fire, 12 EMS calls, 1 MVA, 1 service call, 3 mutual aids, all given to Trumansburg, 1 good intent call. June trainings, June 9th, small equipment driving, June 23rd, bangs training, and June 30th, station maintenance. July 5th, next officers meeting.
And Mike Carpenter, facilities management, which I think is a opportune time to talk about the Labella report.
Okay.
I sent that to you, right? And last month, I gave every board member a copy of the report. Didn't I?
You did. Well, I think you did to me anyway.
So, Mike is a building person. Did we ask for money amounts on these recommendations?
No,
We didn't ask for money amounts.
no.
Okay. So where do we go from here? They've outlined their recommendations to,
Where would I go from here? I would try and find somebody that actually would do the job that we asked them to do. rather
you
than this.
don't like the report?
It's almost useless,
I see.
very poorly done. And it
Oh.
may be our fault for not explaining to them what we needed. I thought we had explained very clearly what we needed, but it doesn't really address any of the really significant issues. It gives advice on how to repair some things that's really bad advice that's will be destructive to the building. It's just really, I don't know, I'm not gonna say anything more.
Do you have a suggestion for who else can do this sort of thing?
Yeah, the information that I needed to get, I could probably get myself in a couple hours. That would be a lot more accurate and a lot more beneficial and useful. I certainly could do it with, I could borrow some equipment from Snug Planet, and I kind of decided I just need to do it myself, because I don't think we're gonna get what we need from, and I certainly don't want to spend thousands of dollars again on hiring somebody else to do it. It seems silly to do. I don't think they understand buildings that well. I don't think they understood our needs. I don't think they understood what the problems were. I don't think they understand what the solutions are very well. That's all. And to be fair, it's a new science. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of changes. I just don't think they're keeping up with them.
Okay. What would be your time frame?
Sometime in the next couple of months. And then we can talk about how we want to go about fixing. And I'll consult with some people too. I know a bunch of people I can consult with that won't charge me anything for their time, so it won't cost the town anything for me to do it.
Okay, thank you. Tompkins County Council and Governments, we mostly discussed the municipal regulation of renewable energy systems. They're working on a community choice aggregation initiative, but I haven't gone to those meetings, so.
Community what? Aggregation?
Community choice aggregation.
What does that mean?
The town, the governing board of a municipality can, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, can enter into agreements with energy providers that benefit all the residents in a town.
Energy providers being utilities?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Nice egg?
Nice. I don't think it's Griffith fuel.
Right. Electric,
It's electric.
yeah.
You must talk about this at county. Or you just get a report from Irene.
Probably just hear from
Yeah, well, I haven't gone to any of the meetings, so they're trying to encourage municipalities to do this.
To negotiate as a group with Nice Egg.
I think it's, oh, well, I think that's what they're strategizing.
Right.
Whether the whole county, or if people want to join together, or whether they'll advise each municipality how to do it better.
And I think they do that over in Groton. Because their electric is way down.
Well,
Yeah, they had a
that's another reason.
pre-existing arrangement.
That's because the village owns it.
Yeah.
It's always been cheap in Groton.
Yeah, Watkins is the same way.
So it's not nice.
No.
They've always, Watkins
Watkins
owns,
Glen Village has that energy agreement from back in the 30s, I think.
well,
They pay like 4 cents a kilowatt hour for their electricity.
Yeah, because they buy it off primary transmission.
Yeah,
We're nice, like we have to pay the cost for rural distribution, substations and such. Like Groton, they own their lines, their substations.
yeah.
And because they're buying it there at bulk, they can buy that electricity off the transmission lines
Right.
very cheap.
The only question is, are they doing the necessary upkeep on the things that they own?
not our problem.
No, there's upsides and downsides to everything.
So if anybody is interested in this and would like to attend these meetings, get in touch with me and I'll give you the contact information. Okay, let's go back to the consent agenda. All the vouchers are signed.
I don't know if Henry has.
No, I don't like to sign them while we're doing a meeting because I can't really pay attention.
All right.
always. But
All
I
right.
thought I thought we had approved those before they were signed in the past, or am I wrong?
I think you're right.
I think he's right there, yeah.
So would you like to put forth a motion, Henry? They're not gonna get paid until Friday anyway.
A motion to approve the audit claims?
That's the- Oh, actually, a motion to approve the consent agenda is what you want, right?
Yeah, but usually you read that.
Read what?
Oh, you've got that in writing, right? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as set forth. With the change that it's resolution 2016-51 and 52, right, Alice? I overshot on my,
Rather than 52 and 53.
yeah.
And that's the authorization to sign the software contract
Yeah.
and the standard workday report.
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question in relation to one of the items in the general fund that is not really, it's not a question related to the item itself and the money involved with it, though it's a question involved with something that extends off of it, so I don't think it relates to the approval of the funding.
Do you
But I
wanna-
would like to ask the question later or sometime.
Okay. I'll see if I can answer. Call the vote.
Councilperson Carpenter?
Aye.
Councilperson Handstein?
Aye.
Supervisor Ryder?
Aye. Virginia's not here, so we do not have a report on the grant. Oh, I did put it on the agenda. Well, we already did that building assessment. And now we're on to the road use agreement.
It's a lot smaller than it was.
Well, this is just agreeing to improve.
That's the resolution.
To improve the U road agreement.
Oh,
that's
I know
been
where it
developed.
is.
Second paragraph. Oh, third paragraph. At the start.
So this is the resolution to approve the multi-page road use agreement. Which has been available for a number of months. What this is a general approval of the road use agreement. Specifics have to wait until the permitting process. So what this action tonight is approving the road use agreement in general terms, as it states in this resolution. I would like to make a change to the resolution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whereas. Down in the 6th whereas subject to minor amendments to calculate the roadway reconstruction costs. We on that, whereas. I would like to change the word county to the roadway plan developed by Dan Walker, physical engineer. What's a PE anyway?
Professional engineer.
Professional.
License.
Where are you reading that in?
Okay.
This is-
6, whereas
It's on this paper.
the resolution.
Not the road use agreement, it's the resolution. to
No, it's
approve
the
road use.
resolution. And that is the shorter, more English agreement that we looked at last month. Our road use agreement, I have never been given to understand it has anything to do with the county. What's your understanding, buddy?
I don't know what you're saying. Our road use agreement,
With the project has nothing to do with Tompkins County
talking about for this,
for the wind farm
for
project.
the wind farm, not
Yes.
the road preservation law.
No, we're not talking about a road preservation law.
Correct, this is just for our roads,
Right, and it only involves us.
our roads.
And it's a two-party agreement between the project and the town of Enfield.
Yes.
Do you have, did Dan ever throw out a dollar amount to you?
As far as what?
Costs of
It's in there.
improvement?
It's in the agreement,
Oh, it's in the agreement?
dollar amounts.
And what's the dollar amount?
Depends on what class of road that they end up being.
Right. That's one of the things.
It's in which agreement though, buddy?
The 22-page one. That's
The
the
one
one
from
I
Guy-
thought we were,
One from Guy Crow?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
it's on page, well, they're not numbered. but
No, they're not numbered.
Not this one, the other one.
It's about halfway through the, right at the very top, it says an undertaking shall be in the amount set by the town.
Okay. So, what number do we want to put in here?
Oh, in the resolution?
Yeah, on the resolution.
I don't know.
300,000?
I don't even understand why we're even doing that. I didn't know nothing about any of that till today.
Well, it's been on previous agendas.
Well, no, the road use agreement's been on the agendas, not a resolution.
Not the resolution, right.
Yeah, and then
Right.
there were some issues about the road use agreement too. I see Dan mention that, and in the minutes, I didn't see where he got any answers about penalties and stuff, and that's what when he talked to me, that's what I had questions about. I was looking at penalties, escrow account instead of bonding, and understanding that the amounts, they should look at a turnkey, not for the work that we can do, because that's extra work, and it should be done at the expense of the
Developer.
developer, as a turnkey, not involving us. So we need to make sure we have enough money for a company to come in and do it, if they don't do it themselves,
Right?
and not just what it would cost us to do it.
No. That's right.
So that, for that amount. And I think the amounts that Guy Crow has there are efficient. for what-
Are reasonable.
Yes.
And which page did you find this on?
I don't think it has page numbers.
Depending on which class it is.
Correct.
Which
that's-
you don't know until the professional engineer makes the assessment during
Right.
permitting process.
Right.
Buddy, do you think that the original one that Guy did
Page 13.
was complete? Because when Dan did his own revised one, he definitely made some changes on it. My understanding was that they were gonna kind of put the two together and make a final compended version of the agreement. And I don't know that I ever saw that final version. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking that was gonna happen. but-
Don't know of one that was put together. I know Dan made one that was like 5 pages or whatever.
Right, right.
And then this one came from Guy Crow.
That was before that,
Right.
yeah.
And by putting in this, crossing out county and putting in Dan Walker PE, I was hoping, instead of going back to the lawyer to put them together, that might suffice to incorporate them.
But I did talk to Guy about 2 months ago when I started looking at this agreement, at the two agreements, and he even advised of not bonding, because all you do is end up arguing with the insurance company.
Well, yes, but in the road use agreement, we don't have to decide that into permitting time, I don't believe.
I personally don't know what the big hurry is doing it all together, and especially when they haven't even approached the county about getting anything done with them.
This is something that needs to be done
Well,
under the law, under our law.
doesn't need to be done until after the other stuff is done. It doesn't have to be pushed right through. The secret
has-
needs to be done first, really.
No. This is separate and apart.
No, it's not.
Separate and apart.
Actually, it's not as part of the seeker because that's why we have to do it, because it does show damage to the roads and repair.
That's part of the findings. Findings of fact.
Yeah.
Well, I guess from my side, if Buddy has some questions and issues about it, and if Dan is not here to sort them out with us, I would prefer that we waited until the next meeting and see if Dan can be at that meeting and just make sure that make sure we got all our T's crossed and I's dotted and are in the right place with it. As long as there's not an immediate need to do it at this meeting.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I'm not even sure if I have the latest road use agreement because there's no page numbers, there's no date on it. I don't know.
Well, and that's my concern a little bit too, is the.
It was done
the timing.
last August.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's an updated one that Dan and Guy got together and did.
No,
and never
because I
did.
didn't authorize it.
No,
So this little short one is Dan's,
that's Dan's, yeah.
and this is Guy's.
But I will authorize it.
Well, I just, maybe I don't really have a clear memory, but from what I remember at Dan being at the meeting, was that he definitely did say that he thought that Guy's was better, but he thought there was some information on his that wasn't included, which is why he wanted to do it. And I'm not sure that he was ready to just walk away from everything on his agreement and not worry about it being included in the main one. And if he is, that's fine, but it just would be good to have him
So you don't
say
think
is
that
all.
putting
he-
his name in the resolution solves that?
If he feels like the one that Guy did in August is complete and fine, and if he and Buddy can get together and talk and say, this is good, this is it, then I'm very comfortable with it, but it's not my area of expertise, and I'm not the person to be saying we should do this, because I just don't know. I would count on Buddy and Dan getting together and making that decision, and then telling me, yes, this is what we think is right and what we want, and go from there.
I personally think it should be both of us on that too, not just him.
Say that again, buddy?
On the resolution, I feel like it should be both of us on that, not just Dan.
Well, what does number 2 say? At the bottom of the page.
Well, it says that it also gives you permission to sign the road agreement and stuff.
Right? And what's the rest of the sentence say?
With the town attorney and the highway superintendent. So if you do this, then you got permission to do the road agreement.
In its general form.
I really don't see the hurry in it. You got a long way to go before you're worried about doing roads.
What will be different?
Which I just asked about again, that Dan asked about putting penalties in it, about making an escrow account, and making sure that it's a turnkey fix and not just the expense of the town.
Turnkey. And everybody knows what that means?
I don't know.
Professionals will, anybody of knowledge will know.
Turnkey just means that you do every little last bit and piece of thing that needs to be done, not just mostly done, but everything done. the whole
Turnkey
thing.
operation?
Well,
Is that-
turnkey is just it's a
Oh,
building phrase.
turnkey.
that-
Building phrase or term for anything, what it means, it'll be completed.
If it's
So
in,
the owner is turned over and, like a car, you get it from the dealer, you turn the key. You don't have to put tires on it, you don't have to do anything else.
It's all done, provided.
Okay.
What were you gonna say, buddy?
Well, he explained it good enough. I was gonna explain it in construction terms, but that's good.
What about the point that somebody brought up during privilege of the floor where bringing the roads back to their current condition versus good condition? It's just gonna be.
Well, our highway superintendent has told me, I don't know if he's told the public, there is 1.5 miles of town roads, 2.5 miles of town roads.
Depends on what they end up doing. It's not even decided yet.
So the most it could be is Cutaville Road, maybe. The upper end of Black Oak Road, which is 1 mile, Harvey Hill Road for 1/2 mile.
Yes, that's my understanding.
That's, okay. So that's 1.5 miles plus Cutaville
Fields up.
is Newfield? All right. So in the town of Enfield, it's 1.5 miles of road. Now, I believe you've told me that these roads are in quite good condition.
I think they're class 4 or class 5 roads.
No. I'm talking about not the number that they are, but the condition they are at now.
Well, class 4, 3 and 4 is fair to good condition. They're rear rutted and they have breaking up. Harvey Hill Road, they're probably gonna find they have to rebuild before they do construction because it's nothing but 2 layers of oil and stone on it.
So these roads are in terrible condition.
I wouldn't say terrible, that's pretty insulting.
For huge trucks to drive by. Point being is those side roads.
But if you would.
The board is discussing this.
I can explain that because that remark that was said, that is true but not true about bringing the roads to a higher standard. What all this is, and even what the county road preservation law is to make the developer pay for wear and tear of the road that would be caused by 2 years of cars versus 6 months of development. To do that balance. It's not to, well, we're gonna come out with a brand new road deal.
Right.
Most of the time, you will get a better road than what you had, but their responsibility is to bring it up to where it was and keep it safe and stuff while the development's going on. Nothing is really, unless, it really goes into a good deal where it is a lot better and more road than what you started out to be. But the thing of it's supposed to be is to make sure they pay for the damage they do for the lifespan.
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
that's where it lays. And a lot of times you do come out ahead.
I think what we were referring to is the fact that Black Oak has implied in various meetings that they were gonna go above and beyond that.
But now, I feel like what road you were talking about was the county part, not the town part.
Yeah.
The
That's
county
what-
part's been a mess for 10 years almost, because,
But that is not our business.
correct.
That is not our business, nor any motion before or concern before this board. Okay, so it's about 1.5 miles of town road. The condition of the road is determined by a professional prior to them starting. And then the professional
The professional engineer, the developer, and the town decides what class road it is.
and what condition it's in.
Correct.
before any construction starts and after construction is completed. There is another determination made by the three parties as to what needs to be done to bring them back to a satisfactory level.
Correct.
Okay. So you want penalties and escrow, and the fact that it has to have the term turnkey in it.
I wanted to ask about that, yes.
You want that term in this agreement.
If it needs to be in there, because there's so much legal stuff in there, I can't tell whether.
Could you say completed, right?
Well, yeah, completed is a relative term, is all.
Okay. Any other concerns other than penalties, escrow, and turnkey condition?
Do you have any others, buddy?
Not at this time.
The other one that I had, and I'm sorry if my memory is not great, but we did talk last month, I think it was, about whether to put the road use repair for the decommissioning part of the project into the road use agreement, or is the
Yeah,
decommissioning
well,
agreement?
in the one that Dan did, it's in there.
Right, and my question is it supposed to be in the road use agreement, or is it supposed to be in the decommissioning agreement? Does it matter legally which one it's in? And if it's not in Guy's, then, and it's supposed to be in the road use agreement, then I would think we would want to get it into Guy's part of the agreement. And that was one of the things that I was thinking needed to change over.
I would
from
think
one to
that
the
being
other.
a decommissioning, because this agreement runs out
Exactly, it runs out, yeah,
within a year or whatever the warranty is,
right.
after it's all
Okay.
done and stuff.
And we did talk about where it should be, but I just didn't know if legally it's a separate entity. And then we came up to the time and they said, well, sorry, but we're not gonna fix the road because it wasn't in the road use agreement and it doesn't apply to the decommissioning agreement. If we could slot it into the decommissioning agreement, and if it's legal to do that, that's great.
Where should road damage done during decommissioning be put?
Isn't it any time during the operations, they could come in to repair and have heavy equipment?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah,
That's where we need to get the road preservation law done,
yeah.
to cover all the aspects.
Okay. Alrighty. And the decommissioning plan, I guess I just didn't delete it from the agenda. But that's the next item. And so from last month, you want a breakdown of how the costs were arrived at, right, Mike?
That was one of the, I think that was something that Michael asked for.
And you didn't feel that this decommissioning plan was precise enough?
I don't have notes on what I did, but I can go back to it if you want. I'll have to find it.
Now, again, the decommissioning, the business that's before the board is the amount in terms of the bonds and other security. It's not the precise plan. It's the bonds.
You lost me a little bit there. Can you explain that a little better?
It's a general, what we have to establish is the amount and the terms of the decommissioning bonds.
Right, that was what Michael Miles was gonna look into.
Well, you didn't want to have to review this all the time, which
Right.
I tend to think we have to be big people and do it every year at the audit meeting.
Well, the trouble is, it's not us. We will be gone.
Well, at least I copied what had been done prior. I guess I can only hope that
Right,
the person that follows me will
yeah.
do what
I
has
was
been.
just trying to plan for the future a little bit. And, maybe it's not appropriate, but I was hoping maybe we could get it, something that was established in place that would kind of renew itself, that we wouldn't have to continue doing it or watching it, or it wouldn't matter if we forgot to watch it.
Mm.
And then the time, if we established a concept, a proposed way of, you know, we talked about tying it into something, just like they tie interest rates into the Fed rate. Just find some way to tie it into something that increases with the cost of living and would therefore be relevant. And it doesn't, we don't necessarily have to be that specific about it, as long as we're very clear about it and find some way to say it needs to be tied into some kind of a marker.
Well, I'll urge Michael to work up
He was
some
gonna look
economic
at that,
plan.
and then he was gonna look at the cost of decommissioning as, you know, in relation to other projects and what they were likely to be, what they should be.
Okay.
And I didn't ask him about it last night, whether he had time to do that.
No, he didn't. I talked to him last night. He didn't. And what has come to light during this process is that the town of Enfield has no FOIL procedures, as we're supposed to have under New York state law. So, our lawyer was commissioned to draft a proposed law, and I believe you've all been provided a copy.
No. 'Cause
No.
No, it's still in the way draft form. It'll be revised a few more times before
Okay.
it's ready to do much.
Not ready to,
I will
It's about
provide
10
it.
pages long.
I'll provide it to the other board members. It's a work in progress. And so the next step that you feel needs to be done, Alice?
Sue and I will be meeting with Guy Crow to go over the draft, to make a lot of changes. And then it will be another draft we put together.
So you found a lot of changes you wanted made.
Mhm.
You have a timeline on that?
We're meeting with him on Friday. 2 days.
maybe we can talk about it at that special meeting we're gonna have between
There you
now
go.
and the next meeting.
There you go. Okay, we're on to new business, and in your packet is a resolution to hold a public hearing regarding passing a local law to give the board the benefit of increasing the budget more than the tax levy that's assigned to us. So I'm gonna move, and what resolution is this gonna be now, Alice?
53.
53. Public hearing on 2% tax override law, and that should be law, not whatever typo that is. Whereas the New York State has instituted a law that local municipalities should not adopt a budget increasing property taxes more than 2%, and whereas the cost of employees' benefits is increasing and the highway superintendent has concerns about culvert and bridge replacement, vehicle replacement, cold storage, and salt storage facilities, and where it is unknown at this time what our 2017 budget will look like, therefore be it resolved that a local law be passed allowing there to be more than a 2% increase in local property taxes, and that a public hearing on the matter be scheduled for Wednesday, July 13, 2016 at 6:30 for the purpose of the public to comment on the attached draft local law number 2-2016 for the purpose of being acted upon by the town board. The town clerk is directed to do the mandatory public notices as required in MHRL Section 20. Could I get a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Let's do it.
This is not in the hopes of going overriding, but one doesn't know during the budgeting process. Other discussion? Call the vote.
Councilperson Carpenter?
Aye.
Councilperson Handstein?
Aye.
Supervisor Ryder?
Aye.
Great.
And then is once again time to do workplace violence training. I've gotten into this routine of doing it 2 different times. All members of official boards, all employees, all appointed people are required to take this 2-hour training. Buddy takes responsibility for the highway department. Have you put your plans in place yet? Your training for the year is done?
Yes.
Okay. And you filed your attendance sheet with Alice?
Yes.
Okay. And I really like to do this before we get too deeply into summer. So, do other board members have a particular time that is not good? We will not interfere with the Wind Farm Advisory Committee.
I think that end of the day time you've been doing it is good.
Well, I've been doing it like I didn't pull my file because it ended up, it's in the town office.
5 or 5:30 or something.
5 or 5:30,
That's good for me.
and, but 2 different days.
Okay.
It's kind of the same time frame, but 2 different days. And so it's looking like one should be a Thursday, so to not interfere with too many of our other meetings. I don't have my calendar. So, in not going too far, would the 23rd of June be reasonable?
I'll be here.
I think, what's the date again, Anna?
23rd,
Thursday.
and then I have to pick one other, maybe I'll pick the, let's see. If you do those wind farm advisory meetings every 2 weeks, the next one's gonna be the 21st, right?
Yes.
And so the 28th would not,
Would not.
conflict.
No.
However, they have to attend, one or the other, because they're official,
The people from the committee.
they're official committee of the board.
Well, that might lower our board attendance real quick.
Might. June, what'd I say? Thursday, June
23rd,
23,
Tuesday the 28th.
28. Training is held here. I'm gonna check out Michael's new piece of equipment. See if we can upgrade this a bit.
Mike, there was a question I thought about whether or not it was gonna actually be in 2 weeks. I thought Mike Miles was going to send out an email and try and confirm that for everybody.
Confirm the date?
Yeah, whether it was
Yeah.
gonna be every 2 weeks or not.
Yeah. I don't think it was a sure thing. I'm
No,
just-
it wasn't.
Yeah,
That was my understanding.
yeah. I just start somewhere and kind of go on the way.
Okay.
And the time, Ann, is
5:30.
How long does the training?
1.5 to 2 hours.
What dates are you telling?
as a test afterwards.
June 23rd and June 28th.
What's that?
June 23rd and June 28th are the 2 days.
So it's either or.
Right, it's either or. Announcements, it's cleanup days tomorrow and Friday from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock and Saturday from
7 to 12.
7 to 12 noon. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I do have a couple of quick things if we can.
Oh, yeah.
One was, I just wondered if you had any update on, the last I saw on the status slide frame for the SEIS was that
Oh,
Black Oak didn't have any projected schedule for their responses.
did I provide you with, didn't I provide you with a new time frame?
This one, but it didn't have anything.
May
for-
26th?
The one that I got in the mail or in my mailbox yesterday still didn't say, it still said not initiated, no projected schedule in number 3, box number
Right.
3.
Right.
It still didn't have any.
And Kathy emailed me Monday, and she hasn't received anything
From Black Oak, yeah.
from Black Oak.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was wondering.
What about getting Black Oak to pay their bill?
I will send them a formal request. I've sent them an informal request.
And are you ready for the other question?
Yeah.
When I was reading through Guy Crow's bill, there are a number of things that he spent time in and responded to, and some of them were relevant, and I was wondering how to get to read his replies or his work product from these things that he did. You know, we don't typically get all these things, but I would like to actually get to read the things that he writes and reviews for us, especially the ones that he did in relation to questions that I asked. And I wondered how that was possible.
Well, why don't you make a Xerox copy of that bill and
Okay.
check the ones you want?
That'd be great, I'll do that. Can I do that tonight, Alan?
Sure.
Great, thanks, I'll do that.
And I forwarded one of them to you by email.
Was it recent?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
Monday.
Was it on
Tuesday.
the blue cube, brown cube, whatever that thing is? Bluehost site?
I sent it as an attachment to an email.
Just to a regular email address, email?
The email address I have for you, or I have 2 or 3 for you.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see it. I guess I'll look.
You
again.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It might have gone to spam or something. I'll look and see if it got
Oh.
spammed.
Oh.
But I'll do that and then get
And
you
then
that.
I'll get that stuff to you.
That'd be great, thanks. And there's one more here, I think, at the end. It only had one, yeah.
I got this thing on it. I got it.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep this one. That was my questions.
Sure. Motion to adjourn?
Second. Or no? Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Okay. Call the vote.
Councilperson Carpenter?
Aye.
Councilperson
That's
Handstein?
good.
Aye.
Supervisor Ryder?
Hi. If there's any registered Democrat that would like to sign petitions to get people on the ballot, I'd entertain your signature. You have to be a registered Democrat.